Hi guys, good evening, how are you? Everyone's muted, aren't they?
Hello.
Hey, there we are.
Hi. Hi.
Sorry for the slight delay this evening in getting started. I can see people were pinging in. There's still people coming in now, actually. I've got Lizzie, I've got Oliver in the waiting room. I believe Oliver's going to wait and come on at 1:45. He said he didn't want to get involved in the initial because it might drag him away from AVIVA and want to become an advisor. But welcome to tonight. As I just mentioned there, you know, we've got AVIVA on tonight. It's one of the big guns. Goes without saying, I've talked about global treatments a number of times. I'd expect Oliver's going to go on about that product and all the USPs of AVIVA, so you can really take something away from this session that is of value to you to use for your clients. Of course, we've got many people being appointed over the last couple of weeks. You know, the leash is now off, the reins are now off. It's a matter of, I've seen that celebration there, Rachel. Very good. Do it again. Hey. Yeah, so, you know, once you're authorized, you want to be in a position where the reason for these sessions, sharpen your soul, where you've got the knowledge, you know the USPs, but you're also, you know, working to certain process as well. So, you know what I mean? If you're not feeling in that position at the moment, you're feeling like you need more training, more help, you know, as we always say, just reach out. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. We're here to give you guidance, whether it's one-to-one, whether it's group sessions, whether it's more video content you need. I mean, come to me, ask me for it. Ask Kaylee, Shannon, Cade, Emma, ask the case managers if you need something in regards to the compliance side of things. You know, we're more than happy to, you know, support you in that as well. So let's get going. First and foremost, we want to start by saying congratulations. Rachel, you're on the call, aren't you? Do you want to unmute yourself a second?
Yeah.
Hey, you was waiting around for a while, wasn't you? I think it was a good week where you was kind of just the little things holding authorizations team back and getting you appointed.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're now officially an advisor. You know, you're a protection specialist. We're going to call you from now on. You're already on your way with your CMAP. You've got CMAP 1 under your belt, haven't you?
Yes.
And when you're looking at doing 2 and 3?
Probably June time.
Amazing.
Yeah, June time probably. Depend. I just want to build this first and then concentrate on that. Yeah.
Good on you. For me, I believe it's the best way of working, coming into the industry to become a protection advisor, because once you then get your mortgage badge and you've got the ability to do mortgages, naturally you're in a mindset of protecting the client, you know, not just sending them on the way with, you know, £250,000 worth of debt. So, you know, you'll go in there now understanding that they need life, they need critical illness, you know, they're going to need to maintain the monthly payments, they're going to need some income protection. So you'll be 2-3 months in front from a protection advice perspective when it comes into doing mortgages come June, when you get that additional 2 and 3 CMAP boxed off. But like you see on the screen, I just want to say a big congratulations. And I want to highlight, well, you probably see how many rockets are on the screen there, because because we love an emoji. Everyone knows we love an emoji in Fortune Financial. And the interim referral board was for introductions during the non-authorization period. So when your application goes in to being authorized, it's getting out there, isn't it? It's asking questions, it's telling people what you're going to be doing, it's building that excitement, and it's generating clients that you can speak to and talk to about protection. So what were your number, Rachel?
23.
23. So I want to highlight that today, because not only congratulations on being appointed, which is great because you're now up and running in the office today. It was lovely to see you in, but also you now hold the interim referral record as 23. So we know what emojis mean in this this business. You get to retain that rocket now against your name as an advisor throughout 2022, and anyone who comes in or is currently in the non-authorization or CAS status and wants to step up and beat you, will challenge do it so they can take that rocket off you. So, you know, if anything, it's a little bit like a medal around your neck. It's a little bit of recognition to say, do you know what I mean? When I started out, I'm currently the best. I'm the record holder for introductions, for networking. And what I'd really encourage you to do now is to continue doing that, because if we spoke about all the, you know, all the last sessions for Sharpen, you saw, we've talked about, you know, it's all about people. It's all about bums on seats. It's all about getting in front of certain circles and in circles, sorry, to network and being able to generate advice and you know, an income for yourself. So, you know, within that period of time, our recommendation in the business is to do 6. For you to do 23, congratulations. Great start to your career, if anything.
Thank you.
A positive one at that.
Yeah, 100%.
Fantastic. So well done. Moving on. We always start with a quote, and it's not how good you are, it's how good you want to be. It's all about mindset, isn't it? I'm going to say that quote one more time. I love this quote, actually. It's not how good you are, it's how good you want to be. And on the left-hand side, you'll see there it says, you know, hard work beats talent every time. There's another saying, it says hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And you know, let's define hard work. Let's look at the list there and work out what hard work means, because running rounds like a headless chicken, or bouncing around like a box of frogs, or, you know, exhausting yourself, or going at it too hard and you've been on the hamster wheel, that's not what hard work means. You've got to work smart at the same time. And the people that always say you should work smart and not hard, well, you know, that's a lot of rubbish, because you still have to work hard, but you can work smart. And what I'm kind of referring to there is sometimes less is more. And I think I've said this to a number of you over your initial application process and through your authorization, is that when it comes to sitting down with clients, it's really important that you ensure that they get the advice they would expect and over and above. So it's not just about giving them what they want, it's about giving them what they need as well. And by giving them what they need, they've then got the choice to take your advice. But without you as a professional standing tall in your advice and saying, listen, I understand that you've got a mortgage and you want to protect it, but at the same time, we need to make sure you've got some security in the event of a critical illness. You just told me you've got 2 months sick pay. What are you going to do beyond that? So we need to address that and make sure you're aware that there is options for you. And, you know, we're going to make a recommendation that's bespoke to you. And you're really going to show your clients, I suppose, that you care. And I think that's a really big thing in this world. So, you know, it's not how good you are, it is how good you want to be. And you've got the choice of how good you want to be. And how you're going to do that is through, on the left-hand side here, you'll see a list of, you know, effort, attitude, belief, energy, a passion, and I've spoken about that many a times, your work ethic, and also being prepared as well. So, you know, just to go into a little bit more detail with that, you know, effort, you know, success isn't always about greatness. You know, it's about consistency. And what I mean by that is if you think of like a sports team, let's look at Leicester City, for example. Everyone, no doubt, will be aware that Leicester City won the Premier League. Now, that was a massive achievement for them, but they won't be remembered for greatness like a Manchester United, or it hurts me to say, a Liverpool of the 80s, and probably the current times, if I'm honest, and same with the Manchester Cities. They're great teams because they've got consistency and they do it year in, year out. They pick up different trophies, different awards, because they understand that, you know, people don't really remember somebody doing something just once. You've got to stand tall, and you've got to prove that it wasn't done on a whim. It wasn't luck. It was because, you know, you're working hard and you're good at what you do, and you're committing to making sure your effort brings you results as well. So, you know, I talked about success there. It's not always about, you know, greatness. And the word success itself, if you break that down and take each letter from the word success, you've got S, you know, you've got to see your goal. You know, you have that vision, have a clear vision for what you want to achieve. You know, you got to understand the obstacles that are in front of you and simplify them. I mean, because any obstacle you can get round or get over. It's just, again, down to you to decide how you're going to do that. And how you're going to do that is through knowledge, confidence, passion, that we're going to come on to as well. The C in success, the first C in success, it's creating a positive mental picture. So if you can have a real positive mindset and an understanding of what you're going to achieve, and if anything, if anyone watched the video I sent out this morning, it's about already having it. What I would suggest all of you to do is decide where you want to be in 12 months' time and be there now. Because people aim for certain statuses, but when you really think about it, why don't you just start doing it now? What are you waiting for? So when I talked to Rachel there about, you know, you've become a protection advisor, I didn't say protection advisor, I said protection specialist. Already be a specialist. Tell yourself you're a specialist and be one. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got to stand tall to that as well. You've got to, you know, ensure you've got the knowledge through the sharpening the saw events, you know, take the time out yourself to make yourself better at what you do. You've got to build your confidence. And how do you build your confidence? You go out and do it. You do the job, you speak to people, and you probably make mistakes, but you don't lose from making mistakes. You'll learn from them mistakes and you get better every time. But when you win, your confidence will absolutely grow and grow. The second C in success is clear your mind of any self-doubt. You know, if you're surrounded by negative people, or let's say you go home every night and God forbid your partner is very negative towards your career, around just general day-to-day, this, that, the other, then you need to choose to not take that on because it'll affect you. And also, if you've got any doubts yourself, the better way to overcome them doubts is to go at them and prove to yourself that you can do it. So step outside your comfort zone. We've spoken about that before, and that's really important. You know, the E in success, you're going to embrace the challenge. For me, that's probably my favorite one out of success, because you've got to challenge yourself day to day, week to week, month to month. And I know it was Glenn that mentioned this. He talks about skiing downhill. Well, challenge yourself. When you set your own personal targets, because we don't give targets in this business, you choose what you want to achieve and you choose what greatness is and what a superstar is. And then set your level high, because when you set your level high, you know, when you aim for the moon, you hit the stars. I'm a big believer of that. So, you know, you've got to challenge yourself, got to embrace the challenge. And then the two S's left in success, of course, we've got stay on track. You know, by committing, we talked about consistency, you've got to stay on track. You've got to have structure. You've got to make sure that you are continually doing everything you should be doing, and you don't get, I suppose, bogged down with dealing with one client over the week or the month, because that could easily happen. Now, the last S is show the world you can do it. And there's two ways of doing that. You can show them with your success, or alternatively, you can tell them before you've even started what you're going to do. I'm just going to let Oliver in while we're talking, because he's going to think, what's going on? Because Mark's talking a lot today. So show the world you can do it. Tell the people what you're going to do at the beginning of the month. I'm going to do 501 Club with Primus this month. Are you, Glenn? Are you, Lizzie? Are you, Megha? Are you, Agota? Okay, well, let's see you do that then. Now you've got your back against the wall, and you have to step up and get it done. So by telling people it's not just about you, and you can't choose at the end of the week to go, do you know what, I've had a bad week. You know, I'm going to take it down to 250 quid now. So put your back against the wall is really important. So, you know, success, we've just gone through it, you know, and ends with show the world you can do it. Do you know what I mean? Once you do it, celebrate your success, reward yourself for that success, and, you know what I mean, enjoy the ride, if anything. Now, the second one, I'm going to fly through these a bit quicker now, is attitude. Firstly, it's not about the client's attitude. It's about yours. If you get your attitude right, by means of your professionalism, your knowledge, do you know what I mean, your working practice, the way you do things, and again, that structure that we're going to work to, your attitude is paramount to your success, and it's about you and your attitude. You know, quality performance starts with a positive attitude. So you need to, you know, think about positive things. You need to wake up and be grateful for what you have. You need to be present. You need to have targets for the future, but you need to work in now. And what you do today will bring the results of the future. So don't think about your big target. Think about the little bricks that build the big house. And throughout the month, keep doing that consistently, and you'll get them results for you. You know, belief, you know, funny things happen when you start believing in yourself. It's been said many a times. And it always seems difficult until it's done. I'll say that again. It always seems difficult until it's done. Or it always seems impossible. And the word impossible, if you break it down, it says I'm possible. So it's about positive mindset again. Do you know what I mean? Now, you know, energy. We talk about energy, and where focus goes, energy flows. So you've got to concentrate on yourself, and you've got to make sure that you're looking after yourself and bringing an energy to your working day, your working week towards your clients. It's only going to make you a more successful advisor. Now, of course, passion. Without passion, you don't have any energy. The two come hand in hand. Follow your passion and not your paycheck. I think that's a big thing. You know what I mean? If you want to earn money, don't talk about life insurance if life insurance doesn't interest you and you don't have an understanding of why it's needed. If you like income protection, do income protection. Make that your baby that you're going to talk about. Don't think about the money. Think about what you care about and then express it to your clients. You know, and worth ethic. You know, we're talking about the likes of structure. You know, it's not who's always the loudest in the room. You know, you can work hard in silence and let your success be your noise. So, you know, work as a team and, you know, achieve what you want to achieve. You can scream from the rooftops day to day. Alternatively, you can sit back, as I say, and let your results speak for themselves. And, you know, the last one there is, you know, being prepared. Success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. And I say that again. Success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. So you'll get the opportunities, and if you're prepared for them with your knowledge, with the process, with your understanding of what you need to do for people, and again, meeting their need, then, you know, you've got to plan and you've got to expect to win. Again, it's positivity, and you'll portray that to people. And if you go into a client meeting with a negative attitude and you are doubting whether you're actually going to be able to close the advice and the sale off, then that's going to be portrayed to your client. So you really need to, you know, stand tall with that positivity and, you know, say to yourself, you know, I'm good at what I do. And if they don't want what I'm offering you, then clearly it's not the right client for me. And you move on to the next client. But stand tall in you and what you are as an advisor, because when you do that, you will be raw to yourself, you'll be genuine to yourself, and you'll just get the success that you need. So a few quotes at the end there. It says, you know, if you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. Come on, love it. If you do not ask, then the answer will always be no. Come on, again. And if you do not step forward, you will always be in the same place. So we need to go the extra mile for our clients. You know, you need to start with making a first impression, how you're going to do that is through personality and character. You know, we talk people by people. You know, welcome yourself, tell them who you are, be professional, but, you know, get onto their level and be a chameleon. You know, every client's different and you have to adapt to your client's situation. You know, you need to, you know, speak less and listen more. You need to ask questions, open-ended questions, so you give them the ability to speak and open up. People love the sound of their own voice. So give them the opportunity to speak and it'll unravel and give you opportunities. And you'll see at the bottom there, it's a small one. It says a generalist and a specialist. When you bring that together, it creates magic. Now, generalist is, you know, knowing different topics and different areas and different products and different services, but then specialize as well at the same time. So show everyone else that you're better than everyone else in your industry. And when you bring the two together, it'll create magic, it'll create success. And of course, I mentioned it previously, you've got to show your clients you care. You know, it's not about what you want, it's about what they need. So you have to do that day to day. Shannon, I know you're on the call. I remember you recently taking upon yourself on a completion of a client to send them flowers just because you had a great
yeah.
Am I right in that? Is that right what I'm thinking, Shannon?
Yes. So yeah, one of my clients was absolutely lovely, and you know, I asked for referrals, and she was happy enough with my advice and my service to then recommend me to her friends and family, which has now set me up for protection for the month. Which is a massive step up for the beginning of the month for me as well. So yeah, I sent her some flowers, and she absolutely loved them. She even sent me a picture on email of them. So yeah, no, it was really good.
Brilliant, good on you. Listen, that's what it's about. It's not about, you know, advising and making money. It's about building a healthy client bank. It's about building a client bank where you can speak to people, and you can ring someone up and they'll have a good chat with you, and they'll be happy you're ringing. Not, oh, it's that advisor ringing me again, I don't want to answer the phone. You've got to build relationships. It's really important. And, you know, practice gratitude daily. I think that's really important. You know, thank your clients. You know, for me, after every single advice you close, you should put in a thank you call or personalize an email as a minimum and just say, listen, I just wanted to say thanks. I just want to say thank you for, you know, working with me, because you could have worked with anyone, and hopefully the service has been great. And I just want to say thank you for that. And I know Oliver's coming on next. Sorry to keep you waiting, Oliver. The just last thing on gratitude is I once used a model where I woke up every day and I had a notebook, and I just had a pen and a notebook. And before I started my day, I wrote down 5 things I was grateful for. And there's no better way of starting the day, because people always strive for the future, for new cars, you know, new houses, you know, better health. I mean, career growth, this, that, the other. But sometimes you just need to think, where am I at now? You know, what am I grateful for at the moment? And you realize you're actually more than likely in a really good place. And for any reason things start creeping in and you're not in a good place with certain areas, then sort them out and get rid of them, because they're probably dragging you back. So Oliver, sorry to keep you waiting, my friend.
No problem. How are we doing?
Very well, thank you. Cheers for joining us this evening.
You're welcome, don't worry.
For a while, to be honest. One of my favourites by far.
Excellent. That is nice to hear. Hopefully I can replicate your thoughts on us and obviously your previous staff and your current staff. Obviously, are these all newbies? I know Shannon already.
Well, we've got Lizzie, Megha and Rachel on tonight who have just been authorised, so they're actually advising now. We've got Agota, who I'd expect you're going to be authorised in the next couple of weeks. Nod your head if you think that's correct. We've got Glenn, who's hiding behind the camera tonight. He's probably in his PJs early, got in early from work, I'd guess. Oh no, he's here. He's here. Glenn's slightly more delayed due to, you know, you've got your current career you're transitioning from. So I'd expect next month potentially you'll be authorised, maybe early next month. So yeah, we've got a mix on tonight, and people will be watching the session back, Oliver. So it's likely we'll have about 15 advisors that'll, you know, take on your presentation. So again, thanks for your time tonight.
Not a problem at all. Just one thing I wanted to say, guys. Obviously, it's not just a tonight session for me. I look after Fortune. I have done for a number of years now. So if you feel like you need anything on an individual basis, by all means, my number will be on my email at the end of the presentation. Drop me a quick call, drop me an email. This is out of hours for me. I'm making you feel a little bit special tonight by joining. I'm a 9 to 5 type guy. But again, the world's changed, and this is where we're at. So pleasure to be here. So yeah, are we ready to crack on?
Over to you. Absolutely. I've been able to share screen sharing. I was getting that mixed up. I'll mute myself now, and you don't want me chirping up throughout, but if you need anything, call them out for sure, because everyone's very quiet on Zoom, aren't they? Aware.
Yeah. Well, by all means, guys, please shout up at any point. I will try and check in with you. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but I will if I have to. So I'm just going to put my presentation on screen. I'm also hiding behind the camera today because I'm working from home. I've got multiple screens, and I'll be truthful with you, I can't figure out how to get the camera on when I've got my laptop closed. So just bear with me. Let me bring up the Zoom meeting on a different screen. There we go. Can you all just give me a thumbs up if you can see the presentation on screen? Lovely, that's great. Right, so what we're going to run through today, I was planning on going through the whole proposition with you all. However, I feel let's talk about the USPs today. Let's talk about all the things great about AVIVA. So first of all, I want to show you this document first. The reason I want to show you this, we're not mercenaries or anything like that, but this document was made the second day when we all got locked down by Boris. So as an insurer, it takes us a hell of a long time to get things through marketing. Now, this document, you may have seen others with other providers, I'm sure you will have, technical guides, policy conditions, policy summaries. Now, this is what we've created. It's all in one document and it's all on one page. Instead of scrolling through 86 pages, give or take, you can click everything that you can see on screen and it will take you to that part of our proposition. Whether it be your client's got a question for you about level term insurance, whether it's your client's got questions for you about global treatment. Again, that's a little one for you that Mark's favourite, hopefully he's told you about already. Everything that you can see on screen. Unfortunately, our marketing team are good, but they're not that good. On this presentation, it's not interactive, unfortunately. So this is just a screen grab for the slide presentation. So everything that you would click on screen, like your increasing cover, what if your client threw you an objection? What if they're critically ill? You can click there. It's got objections in there for you to support you in conversations. When I said we're not mercenaries, we're all working from home now. Look at us. We're all sat here. Glenn is in his PJs, as Mark said there. Myself, I've got tracksuit bottoms on and a hoodie. We're not turning the heating on at the moment because of the energy prices. But all different ways of presenting now in people's homes, over Zoom, over Google, over totally different other platforms available to you. This is what you can present on when it comes to AVIVA. If you want to have it up on screen with a client, by all means, but please utilize this as a bit of a cheat sheet. The next slide we're going to go on to is DigiCare. So I am going to pick on a few of you now. I'm not going to name names, but does anyone know about DigiCare? Who's heard about it? Shannon, what can you tell me about DigiCare that you know already?
So DigiCare is the AVIVA app that you get with whilst if you took out an AVIVA product, of course. And this basically allows you to have 24/7 GP consultations via Zoom or telephone. You can, I believe, you also have access to prescription services, nutritional services, physiotherapy.
Absolutely, you're taking my job here. I'm going to stop you there because you're stealing my thunder, but I'll let you off. It's great that you know about it. Again, this is relatively new to AVIVA. We've had part of these services before. However, we've improved on them. We've made them a lot stronger, a lot more comprehensive, and it's one of the best benefits package out there. Obviously, of course, Ollie, you're going to say that you get paid by AVIVA, you work for AVIVA, you sell it daily. However, myself and Sophie, who sat at the side of me on a phone eating a tea, whatever she's doing at the moment, we utilize this as often as we can. If you know the industry already, we're not going down the vitality route or anything like that. You can be as engaged in this as you want. You don't have to use it. However, a little bit of a slogan for you here at Aviva: we're here for the cure. When it comes to your life, your critical illness, your income protection, we'll pay that for you. If you're off work, we'll pay your income. If you're critically ill, we'll pay you that critical illness benefit. If you were to be unfortunate enough to sadly pass away, we'll pay money to your family to make sure that the mortgage is paid off. However, we're also here for the prevention as well, and this is where DigiCare comes in. So as Shannon mentioned, it's all on an app. As you'll see on screen, the marketing team have got a little bit creative. You won't be able to tell what type of phone that is on screen because, of course, the top half is an iPhone. The bottom is, I believe, an Android, Samsung Note, something like that. I think the cost for marketing to get an Apple iPhone on screen would have probably cost us a bit too much just for a presentation. So they've squashed the two together. But again, it's the concept of it can be used on any smartphone. So we're going to start with health and lifestyle first on the left-hand side. Now, this is for your clients, the client's children, sorry, and also the client's partner. The reason why I'm starting with health and lifestyle, the first point, sorry, is the annual health check. Now, the annual health check is only for the life assured. So if it's a joint life, both lives get it, but if it's a single life, and kids don't get the annual health check. So what the annual health check is, it's a little finger prick blood test that you do at home. Anyone who's a little bit squeamish, doesn't like blood and needles like myself, even I managed to do it. You literally get a couple of finger pricks through the post and send it off to the lab. What happens then? They look for around 25 different health markers. So it looks for things like diabetes, cholesterol, liver, kidney function, even gout. Who would have thought looking at gout would be one of the health markers? But it is. Diabetes, that was the big one for me. I ate a little bit too much and I drank a little bit too much through lockdown. You know what? When I got my results back, I was pleasantly surprised. I was right healthy in the middle of all the markers on the doctor's report they sent back to me. The beauty of DigiCare as well, it's all private. Nothing goes back to your doctor unless you want it to. I know we're on a recorded line, but I will tell you, but it stays between us. One of the ladies in our office, she used the health check kit and they found some serious health indicators for her. She was off for around 18 months of work and she's still having ongoing investigations now. Who would have thought a little finger prick blood test that she ordered through work, through the DigiCare app in COVID, it would find some serious health markers for her. Multiple operations later, she is now back at work, but again, she's still got those tests going on and investigation. So it can identify things that, again, unless you look under a car bonnet, you're not going to know there's a problem until you hear a rattle. The human body works a little bit differently to that. Then you don't have to use it as an interconnected app. However, it puts us straight into nutritionist. So a nutritionist you can speak to 6 times a year and they can talk to you about lifestyle changes. They can talk to you about dietary changes. Myself, I'm going through investigations at the moment and I'm also using that nutritionist. I've had like dietitian classes through the NHS. However, I'm using the nutritionist privately because I know I can get that one-to-one care and I've got 6 sessions a year. So I can share that with Sophie, of course. She's got the app herself, but if she didn't, I can share that with her because she's my partner. We haven't got any kids at the moment, but when we do, if they think they want to live a healthy lifestyle, they can also use the nutritionist as well. And finally, within health and lifestyle, we have the health and wellbeing discount. So we've got great things like gym discounts. Now, this is all geographically, so don't take this as gospel, but for me, me and Sophie, we live in Sheffield. We've got a gym almost on every corner. So if we put our postcode in the application on DigiCare, it brings up gyms such as Pure Gym, Virgin, Duncan Bannatyne's gym, Get Active, Living Well, Nuffield. Those gyms that we're in partnership with, your clients can get up to 25% off their memberships. We also offer online classes on there, discounts, for example, like on Fitbits, all things to keep your clients fit and healthy. As I mentioned, we're all about the prevention as well as the cure. Hopefully you're starting to see the app come together now. It's all about general living and keeping yourself healthy. Before we move over to treatment, any questions so far? Just give me a thumbs up or any questions that you want to raise. All good, thumbs up. Lovely. I've seen a few nodding heads. So moving over to treatment now. So again, all part of the DigiCare app. It's access to a nurse, for example, Bupa Anytime Healthline, as Shannon mentioned. You can speak to a nurse 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Again, it can be things like you've cut yourself, you've got eczema. It could be right to the top of the tree. If you think about health, you could have been diagnosed with a terminal illness. Your consultant's not going to be available in the middle of the night. What if you have different symptoms? What if you've got a question that just pops into your mind in the middle of the night? A qualified nurse here in the UK is available to you, yourself, and your partner and your children. Then we've got the digital GP service. So this is a paid for service. So it is part of the application, but if they do want to utilize it, the client has to pay for that. And that's 3 sessions, and that's £12 per session for the year. So £36 there for your client, their partner and their children to get access to an online GP. Now that will guarantee an appointment between Monday and Sunday between 8 and 8. And as Shannon mentioned, they can do prescriptions. The Bupa nurses unfortunately can't because they're not seeing you physically, it's just over the phone. However, the doctors, with them seeing you virtually, they can provide any prescriptions and also just that general care. So for me and Sophie, we've got young nieces and nephews, just going back a step here to the Bupa Anytime Healthline. So for me, again, Sophie's the thinker in our household. So our nieces and nephews, when they come to visit, if anything happened to them, of course, where do I take them? My answer would be A&E, of course. However, I turn to Sophie. What if Sophie's not here? I know I've got Bupa at the other end of the phone. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the nurses aren't going to tell you to take your little one or yourself to A&E, but that there is a reassurance piece as well for you. Sophie had flu probably about 18 months ago. We were out for a meal. Give you a little bit of an example of I didn't know what to do. Coming back from a meal in the taxi all the way home, we'd not had that much to drink. Sophie's not a big drinker. She didn't say a word to me. Of course, I thought, oh God, what have I said? What have I done? Am I in trouble? We got out of the taxi. Sophie almost collapsed in my arms. Again, what you thinking there? 999, get her to hospital. I took her inside. She just said she had terrible headache and blurred vision, and feeling terribly sick. Again, put her in bed straight away, vomiting, just feeling really, really nauseous and just not well at all. I called Bupa, asked the question. They said it sounds like the onset of flu. For me, I thought flu was just a really bad cough and cold, a little bit like COVID. However, Sophie was in bed for around 4 weeks, and that's not like her at all. She's a go-getter. She's up, she's about. She doesn't like staying in bed. However, it really did kind of floor her. That's the first time I've seen flu. People, again, day to day say, oh, I think I've got flu symptoms. I've seen flu, and it is horrendous. But again, Bupa telling me to think of look out and look for things like potentially having seizures, any loss of vision, any blood that when she vomits, or anything like that. All things that I wouldn't have thought of without having Bupa at the other end of the phone. Then we've got mental health counselling. Now this, because it is a private service, any childhood counselling under the age of 16 has to be documented. So unfortunately, mental health is just for the client, their partner, and children over the age of 16. We don't forget about kids though, don't worry. We'll come on to those when we move into bereavement. So you can have up to 6 50-minute short-term counselling sessions per circumstance. So if you have a relationship breakdown, work-related stress, support in stopping smoking, if that's getting a little bit too much for you. If Boris was to put us in lockdown again, for example, you can speak to a counsellor and they can give you coping mechanisms, strategies, how to kind of support yourself, even put you in touch with local kind of support groups to help you through the event that you're going through in your life. Then you've got second medical opinion. Now, I'm going to tell you part of this, but I'm going to park it when I mention global treatment. Obviously, that's Mark's favourite, that's my favourite, and that is a lot of people's favourites when they come to AVIVA.
Come on.
So your clients, your partner, and your children. You're still there, Mark. I've kept you with us. So second medical.
Waiting for the GT, Oliver.
Yeah, we love the GT. So the second medical opinion. So if you haven't got GT, your clients, partners, and children, again, it's following suit, can have a second medical opinion twice a year here in the UK. You could have had eczema for a number of years, but the GP through the NHS just hasn't found a solution, hasn't found the right steroid cream for you, for example, you can utilize one of the best private doctors here in the UK twice a year, again, for eczema, for migraines, for that terminal illness that you might have been diagnosed with. For me, having that second medical opinion for pretty much anything is a real kind of, it's one of those, it's a reassurance piece that I'm proud to have available to myself and Sophie, and we'll come on to global treatment very shortly. Physiotherapy being the final option available in the treatment. So this is only available for income protection customers, as you'll see there in brackets. So I'm utilizing it at the moment. You're thinking, God, Ollie, you're costing Aviva a fortune here. I've got a slight tear in my calf playing football, so I'm utilizing that treatment there through my DigiCare app. Aviva are footing the bill for me. I've been to the physio before, and it's roughly about £80 a session for what I'm having done. So you know what? They're saving me a hell of a lot of money, and that's 3 sessions twice a year per injury or kind of incapacity. Finally, at the bottom, we've got practical and emotional support. We'll start with emotional support. We work really closely with the charity Grief Encounter. So they're a support service for children who've lost a parent or a loved one. For any of you who are into your ITV documentaries, Rio Ferdinand did a brilliant one on his, when he sadly lost his wife Rachel. He's a huge advocate for Grief Encounter, so please have a look at that. Have a look at what they do. Again, we're really big supporters. The only affiliation we've got is that we support it. Again, we fund days for them, things like that, but there is no profit when it comes to Aviva. It's all just part of the benefits package that we offer. And finally, that practical support. Now, we offer a estate administration, and we also offer discounts on our solicitors as well. So if your clients are unfortunate enough to have that little bit of a tricky probate or anything like that, property held in trust, we've got that estate administration team that can support them through any documentation, and also that discounted rate on solicitors. Now, for myself, I wouldn't know where to start. Of course, myself and Sophie, we're educated. We've got, I'd say, okay jobs. We're happy in what we do, but ultimately her dad's got a lot of property wrapped up in a trust, and splitting that between 2 brothers and herself is going to be a little bit difficult. I'm in a fortunate position. My sister used to be a probate officer, so of course, who do I turn to? I turn to big sis to support us and help us out. But again, we might even need to use the solicitors to chop up the property and give it to herself and also the 2 brothers to make sure it's fair, to make sure we're covering any IHT bills, so we're not left in the lurch really. We don't want to be liable for property that a dad's left in his will or in that trust. So hopefully you're starting to see there that DigiCare is kind of a unique package to Aviva, but also unique to the market. Now, I've got friends at AIG, I've got friends at LV, I've got friends at Royal London, I've got friends at Scottish Widows. They've probably been on one of these presentations as well. You know what? They have got great packages. I've got one with Scottish Widows myself because I like their benefits. However, I know a lot of them have got our policy just for this package alone. I know we're on a recorded line, but I will tell you, if I've blown you away and you think, you know what, I want a bit of this, but I've already got my cover in place elsewhere, don't worry about it. If you wanted to, again, I'm not advising, but I'm just giving you an option. You could take out a minimum premium life only policy at £5 a month and you get DigiCare included. You don't have to interact with it. Again, however much life cover you get, great, but at least you're getting DigiCare. A lot of my advisors do it just to get the gym discount. So gyms are what nowadays about £50. So if you're getting that £12.50 off your gym, you're saving that already by taking out a £5 policy with Aviva, but also you're getting all the other benefits. Roughly, we have got a little bit of a sales aid just to kind of support kind of our conversations and the offerings. We've always wanted to tot up how much we're saving a client. It's around about the £1,000 to £1,200 per annum just by having DigiCare alone. Any questions on DigiCare? I can't see your faces, so I'm going to have to hear some voices.
Sounds really good.
Excellent. Who was that? Who said that?
It's Lizzie.
Lizzie, excellent. So what were the highlights for you, Lizzie? What did you like about it? What do you think would be the forefront of your conversation? Would you be able to, I won't say spin it just like I have, that's my job on a daily basis, but is there any kind of key parts of it that think, you know what, I'd use that, so why wouldn't I promote it to my clients?
I think, like you said about the having access to GP, when I've got a young daughter, so having that access to help and advice when, you know, out of hours, and trying to get hold of the doctors at the moment is an absolute nightmare. So having that for such a low cost a month is such a brilliant thing, I think.
Excellent. Rachel, any other points you like? Anything in particular?
I like all of it.
Well, that's a great answer. That is a great answer.
I don't think I can pick one thing yet. I just like the fact that you've got it there, like the nurse is there, and yeah, like Lizzie said, I've got a young son, so the fact that it covers them as well, like that's probably, as a parent, your priority.
Yep, absolutely. I couldn't agree more, and that mirrors a lot of conversations. I look after, at the moment, I think 300 firms, and I have around 1,200 advisors, and that is the most common theme, all about children. Now, we're not there just to protect kids, we're ultimately there for mum and dad. However, why shouldn't kids be just as important? If kids are off sick, mum's off sick with them as well. Mum's wage might be affected. So again, these are just the little things just to support them in the mum and dad's and child's hour of need. You know what? If you never use it, fantastic. That means you are healthy, you're fit, you're active. You don't need any of these. Great. But can we realistically say that you're not going to use at least one thing on here? We're hoping that we've got the full package covered. Let's pick on the boss. Mark, what do you like? What's your go-to on here?
I think the thing that stands out for me is, you know, it's the whole package, but people, well, advisors, should I say, they always feel that they need to market themselves around, you know, financial protection. And for me, I never hear any advisors on the likes of social media platforms, you know, and or even using, you know, word of mouth, talking about this kind of thing. It always comes down to, if you die, you get life insurance. If you get a critical illness, you get critical illness cover. If you're off work for accident, sickness, you need some income protection. Well, in the current times when people really struggle to get, you know, a doctor's appointment, you can be waiting 4, 5, 6 weeks for a routine appointment just to get some advice and possible treatment that you need. You know, people will understand the importance of this kind of thing. And, you know, again, with the pandemic that we've just gone through, people really understand the need for these kind of services. So when advisors are on the call tonight, one thing I'd encourage everyone to do is to pick out the USPs of the DigiCare, watch this recording back, and really memorize why this is an amazing app that you get with the AVIVA plans, and then talk about it. Because there's no point in you just knowing it about it. And again, going back to offering critical illness cover and going, oh, by the way, you've got a DigiCare app and it just does a little bit of this. Put DigiCare to the front of your conversation and lead with it and market with it. And you'll stand out from the crowd from an advisor perspective.
Absolutely. And you know what, guys, we're not finished there. If you think I've blown you away with DigiCare, we've got a couple of more bits, and I think this really will kind of blow your socks off. Mark loves it. If you've seen him on LinkedIn, again, he's put numerous posts about it. We're not going to talk about it first, though. We're going to leave it till the end, Mark, so just bear with us. We're nearly there. We're going to start with fracture cover. Now, these two benefits, fracture cover and global treatment, are our paid for benefits. So fracture cover is just for the adult life, and it's for the life assured. You can put this on every product. For any of you on the call that knows the market already, again, other providers do have fracture cover. What I will say about ours, we're the top paying provider in the industry, other than MetLife. MetLife is an injury contract. I don't believe it's on Primus's panel anyway, so we can forget MetLife, but just for facts and figures, I just want to tell you. Royal London, they do include it on their income protection plan. Fantastic, that's great, good for them. However, what if your clients declined income protection with Royal London? They can't have fracture cover. AVIVA, you can place it on every single contract. life, kick, income protection, living cost protection. The only contract that you can't put it on, but I've not seen any of Fortune's guys selling it at the moment, simple life insurance. Now that is just your bog standard life cover that will pay out on life and terminal illness. Done. That is it. You don't get DigiCare. You don't get any extra benefits. It's just a stripped back policy. It's more of a contract for people that are struggling to sell protection, or for your online sales, for like your telesales companies that work kind of 500 advisors out of one office, and they want to do the mortgage, they want to offer a bit of protection on to the next one. You guys, as Mark mentioned in the first few moments when I joined the presentation, it's all about caring for your clients. Be different, put yourself out there, make a name for yourself. And I can't mirror it enough when he said, forget about the money. In protection and the mortgage world, money comes on the back of it. Don't worry about that. If you become an expert, whether it's just in Aviva, whether it's in another provider, if you become an expert or a specialist, as Mark mentioned, it will all fall into place. I guarantee that. I've seen it happen. I'll give you an example. One of my close advisors who I've worked with for probably 7 years is a lot younger than me, and he's even trying to poach me to go and work for him. He's got 7 houses now, and he's been an advisor for 5 years. So if that doesn't speak volumes, you know what? He's worked hard. He's had his lovely holidays. He goes to Lapland every year. You know what? I've seen the prices of Lapland every year. I certainly want a bit of that. However, he cares, and that stands him above the rest. Don't just be another advisor out there. Don't be a number. Go out, care for your clients. Do the great things like Shannon did. Buy flowers for your clients. Send them a birthday card. Make them know that you're there, even after you've set the mortgage up, even after you've done the protection. Be around after the fact. Be around for when the child's in hospital with a critical illness. Be around when they forgot that they had global treatment, and you could take the client overseas to have that treatment. Gave you a little bit of a teaser there, didn't I? But be around for all those things that your client might need you for that other advisors aren't. Back to fracture cover now. So as I mentioned, we're the top paying provider in the industry when it comes to fractures. We'll pay from £1,500 to £6,000 for one of the 18 fractures that you'll see on screen. There's no alcohol exclusion or anything like that. That's a big one for me because I like a drink at the weekend. Sophie's looking at me now thinking every day, yeah, you know what, I do like a beer. But there's no alcohol exclusions. There's no skiing exclusions. You'd expect maybe skiers and snowboarders that would have some winter sport exclusions. There is, however, an exclusion for anyone with a brittle bone disorder, osteoporosis, of course, bones that break a lot easier than kind of your regular client. There are a few more exclusions as well, but that is if you're competing in one of the following sports. So things that you'd expect: rugby. If you can believe it, around 18 months ago, we covered professional rugby players. And I'll be honest with you, they're the ones that have caused this. We can no longer cover rugby players. And also, whether they're professional or not, we cannot cover them. So you've got rugby, cage fighting, martial arts, BMXing, all things that you'd expect for exclusions. So all niche areas, your clients can have them. But if you've got someone who plays rugby a lot, don't be promoting it for rugby, because if they do it while competing in rugby, they won't be able to make a claim. But like me, if you fall off the curb drunk, break your leg, they can make a claim. I have had a claim on it as well. Again, Ollie, you're costing Aviva a fortune. Yes, Mark?
Did you mention cage fighting then?
Yes, cage fighting as well.
That's Shannon.
Have you got a few clients?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking of Shannon. She wanted some. She loves a little scuffle, does Shannon?
I mean, she can have it, but while she's in the cage, unfortunately, that's a no-go. But if she's out having a wine at the weekend, and you know what, again, falling off that curb, then she'll be able to make a claim. I've had a claim for it myself. Two broken ribs playing football. £1,500. One of my colleagues in the office, one of the Manchester lads, felt a little bit ropey on the Tuesday. Decided he say a little bit ropey. He's 42, so we can say that he's a little bit older than me. Decided to play five-a-side. He played in net. He usually plays on a Tuesday with the dads. Didn't feel very well. Decided to play net. Net of all. Sorry about that. Is everyone still with me? It dropped out.
Yeah, we slightly lost the volume there, Oliver. The last
All right,
30 seconds.
I disconnected, buddy. So apologies for that. I think I should be back now.
Okay.
So yeah, regards to my friend playing football. He had that broken arm on the Tuesday night, in hospital, operation Wednesday morning. He had a payout into his bank account, £3,500 by Wednesday afternoon. That's not because he's an Aviva staff member. He just called up on the basis of, right, this is what's happened. The Aviva claims team said, right, have you got proof of that? Yep, not a problem. I'm in a hospital bed right now. My consultant's done me a letter. Took a picture on his shiny iPhone, sent it in. Again, that payment at £3,500. At Aviva, we've got great sick pay. However, it's still a cash injection to him of having a broken arm. He's the driver in the family. His wife's got 2 young twins. So, of course, broken arm, in a cast, in an L shape. You can't drive like that. So, of course, it funded taxes. It funded just public transport for them. But ultimately, it's that payment that a builder might need. What if a builder's got no sick pay? What if he works day to day? So fracture cover is there and available for those types of people. Even covers semi-professional footballers as well. So myself, I didn't plan to be an account manager. I didn't wake up and think, you know what, I want to work for Aviva. I want to be an account manager. I wanted to play football. I didn't quite make it. I played semi-pro football, earned some decent money from it, but ultimately got that injury to my hamstring, just worked my way down the leagues, and now I can just play five-a-side. My body's in absolute tatters for 32 years old. But you know what? That's kind of the life that God put me down here for. But for people that need that cover, get into those semi-professional teams. If you have got links in there, not just Glenn, any of the girls, if you know anyone in your local area, straight away you've got 11 people there that play football on a Saturday or a Sunday. You've probably got 4 or 5 subs. You've got the physio, you've got the manager, you've got the secretary, you've got their partners. I've just given you 50 leads there just from one entry to a football team. Here in Sheffield, we've got the oldest football team in the world. We've got Sheffield FC. It's a stone's throw away from a house. I know for a fact they've got an under-19s, an under-20s, and under-21s. Fair enough, they might not all be ready for protection to cover the mortgages, but ultimately, what about fracture cover? If they injure themselves at that level, they're not on contracts. They're not getting paid to kind of sit at home if they're not playing. However, a broken ankle, £2,500 can go a long way for a lot of people needing this type of cover.
Oliver, just to let you know, your presentation's just dropped out.
Oh, let me just bring it back on screen, but 2 seconds. Is it back on screen?
It is indeed.
Lovely. Right, now what we've all been waiting for, after I've told you the price of fracture cover first. Fracture cover is £4 a month, and again, that is per life. You can add it on to every single policy. Adults only, no children. Before I move on, any questions at all regards to fracture cover? Excellent. Yes.
Oliver? Did you say it doesn't cover rugby players, but it does cover footballers?
Yes, so the footballers can't be professional. We don't cover it. We don't cover professional athletes at all. But yes, it will cover footballers. So semi-pro, if they play at the park, if they play with the kids at the weekend, if it's amateur, yes, it does cover them. So again, a great opportunity there with footballers. I know you guys don't live near to me, but when I do kind of pull the trigger and I leave Aviva to go and advise, that's my in straight away, straight into football teams. I've got multiple teams I used to play for. I've got contacts in that world straight away. Again, I'm not going to go and promote fracture cover on every single case, but it gets me through the door. It's all about offering them my services and having a chat with individuals. Everyone's got different protection needs.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Right, on to global treatment now. Now, this is the one that pays my bills. This is the one that takes me and Sophie on lovely holidays, that keeps a roof over our head. Global treatment is unique to Aviva. It is the only part of the contract that no one else in the UK insurance market can offer. What this will do will set you above the rest. It will also help your persistency. If someone gets hold of your client, for example, and has the same conversation that you have, and they want to place them with AVIVA, if you put global treatment on there, there is not a chance in hell they can rebroke that plan. Why would you do the same plan like for like? You're not going to save the client any money unless they're doing a lesser job than what you've done for them. Now, global treatment, what it does for you, if you have that on your plan, it will give you that second medical opinion. Yes, we've talked about that here in the UK, but it also offers it worldwide. So you may have seen in the news, you hear horror stories, these Just Giving pages, these people doing charity skydives, things like that, all for children needing treatment overseas, for example, because the NHS either don't fund it or there's a hell of a waiting list available to them. You've got cases like Charlie Gard, Asher King, Bradley Lowry, the young Sunderland mascot, needing around £700,000 to get that treatment overseas. Global treatment funds that for you. So, as I mentioned, it's not there to wipe out the NHS at all. It's there to complement the NHS. Even if treatment's available for you on the NHS here in the UK, you can utilise your option and go overseas. You could stay at home in Hitchin or Sheffield, where I'm from, go to the hospital there in your local area. Or what if one of the best treatments available for you in the States, for example? Now, I'm not saying treat it like a holiday. We're not taking you to see Minnie and Mickey at Disneyland or anything like that, but we're offering you the best service available privately overseas. So, as I mentioned, even if it's available through that NHS service that we all have available to us, you can opt to go overseas. You can opt to not use global treatment. It's entirely up to you. So it is an additional cost. It covers all 6 conditions that you can see on screen. But of course, the big one for me is cancer. We know, everyone knows someone who's had cancer, suffering with cancer, or sadly lost someone to cancer. The other one, again, that kind of screams out to me, neurosurgery. The one that people always forget, and this is a big one for me, and it's only made me realise quite recently, live donor organ transplant. So here in the UK, we've got what, 67, 68 million people, give or take. And in the world, if you discount Russia, we've got what, 7, maybe 8 billion. So if you don't have global treatment, you've got that 67 million chance of finding a donor. Or if you've got global treatment, you've got that 7 billion chance of finding a donor. You know what? I like those odds. But again, cancer is a big one. If that treatment is available on the NHS, it roughly costs around £125,000 per cancer treatment. Global treatment will cover you for up to £2 million of cover. So not only have you cleared I can't put my teeth back in there. Not only have you cleared the client's mortgage, not only have you covered their income if they're off work, you've now got them £2 million of cover. It covers the kids free of charge. It will take the client and their children abroad if they need any types of treatment. It will pay for everything when it comes to all the logistical arrangements. It covers all the flights. It covers the accommodation. It covers the cost of taking a companion with you as well. It will even pay £100 a day for your hospitalisation allowance, and that's for a maximum of 60 days. Now, the hospitalisation allowance, this is the only time you're going to see a cash value in your bank account. Of course, a critical illness claim, the money's paid directly to you. With global treatment, just think of Big Brother taking care of the bill for you. That's exactly what we do. When you return to the UK, what if any of the treatment's been kind of removed from the NHS, or if it's part funded? Now, over the last 18 months, we've actually removed 25 different cancer drugs from the NHS register, and it has to be part funded. So again, AVIVA and Global Treatment step in, will pay up to £50,000 worth of further medical costs when you come back to the UK. What if your cancer returns? What happens then if you've already been overseas? Doesn't matter. We fly you back out. We'll try different treatment options. We will take you as many times as you need to get you to a position where you've either beaten cancer or we're managing cancer for you. We pick you up from your house. We'll take you to the airport. Everything's paid for. When we get you to Jamaica, Germany, Paraguay, Peru, a lot of South American countries in there, whether it's France, whether it's Germany, whether it's the States, we'll take you to your hotel. If you don't want to be in the hotel, we'll take you to your apartment. It's all about comfort when you're out there. If your partner wants to be by the hotel, but apartments are available, not hotels, that's fine. It's entirely your choice. It's a full concierge service, but we foot the bill for you. Once you've had your treatment, as I say, backwards and forwards, we'll pay for all the kind of medical costs out there, any operations, any treatment that you might have whilst you're out there. If your partner wants Uber Eats or Deliveroo, if you get that where you guys are from, that's fine. We foot all the costs for you. Once you've had your treatment, we bring you home. We bring you back in that private car. We'll even turn the kettle on for you when we get there. It's a full concierge service. Now, children, as I mentioned, are included free of charge. So if the child was to be poorly, we take both parents. It's not fair for Aviva to say, right, well, mum, you go with him, or the parents even make that horrendous decision. Which one's going to be out there on their own, needing to kind of support their child? Doesn't matter. We take both parents. If the client was to be ill, we will pay for a companion. Doesn't matter who you want to take. Sophie'd absolutely love it. Yes, I'd be ill, but yeah, she could go shopping overseas. She could go and see Minnie and Mickey. Again, that's not going to be at the forefront of her mind, but she would certainly be the one to come with me. So, little question for you, not to put you all on the spot, but if you didn't know about global treatment and someone offered you £2 million of cancer cover for yourself and your children, what would you give? What would you give to have that cover? I'll give you my answer. I'd give everything. I'd sell my house. I'd put my mum and dad in a home. I'd sell their house. I'd do as much as I can to get the best treatment available for myself, Sophie, and any future children as well.
That's a brilliant answer.
Hopefully that's what you guys would give. I'd give the absolute world for this cover. And you know what? I'll hold my hands up. Aviva and Friends Life, we're all one now. We're under the Aviva Group banner. We were two companies probably five years ago now. Aviva bought Friends Life. Now, global treatment was the Friends Life benefit. I'll hold my hands up. I have global treatment through Friends Life. I went to another insurer to get this benefit. When this policy came out, of course, I was over the moon. Global treatment, brilliant. So me and Sophie, we've got the cover. We've both got it on our contracts. I went to another insurer to get this benefit because I see the benefit and I see the value. I haven't got a copy on screen, but I will send over the claims brochure to you. There is kind of a walkthrough of a lady, 28 years old. Again, she's called Rachel as well. No coincidence, I mentioned Rachel earlier in the presentation. She's been out in Madrid multiple times because she found a lump. So she's had breast cancer at the age of 28. She's got a partner and she's got a little baby as well. So an awful time for her. However, her advisor was different. He talked about global treatment. She saw the benefit. She took it. She even mentions that she didn't take it for herself. She took it just because she had a young baby. However, she's utilising the service herself. Final pop quiz. Mega, how much do you think this costs? Or Glenn? No right or wrong answers. Well, there is, but don't be afraid to shout something out. How much do you think?
£3 a month.
Oh, someone's been cheating. Someone knows. It is £3 a month. And you know what? We're proud to say that we've only ever changed the premium on this contract once. It is on a review period. It reviews every 3 years, and then the premium changes on the 4th year. However, we've changed that premium once in the lifetime. So we've had this for 9 years across the board. We've changed that once. It went from £4 to £3 last September. So we've made it cheaper. People always say, oh, what's the catch? There really isn't. It is as good as what you might think it is and what I say it is. Why is it so good? It gives you access to treatment around the world. £3 a month. Now, my local pub, I think it's probably like £3.60 a pint, give or take. I like to go at happy hour, so they'll do it for £3. But if I don't have that extra pint a month, that pays for my global treatment. As I mentioned, and again, hopefully you're starting to see, be different, set yourself apart from other advisors that aren't talking about the opportunity. It'll reduce the risks of you losing customers that are talking about it. If you don't promote global treatment and someone offers it down the line, you know for a fact they're going. If someone can turn someone on for global treatment like that, then why not have the same policy, pay £3 extra a month, but get all that cover with it as well? Regards to the persistency, again, hard for an advisor to rebroke that plan from you. Again, you're at your early stages of your career, but that's the one that'll really destroy me when clients go elsewhere, or advisors try to get their hands on my clients through other sources. They might be talking down the pub, they might be talking through work colleagues, how they've got a great advisor who's got this great product available. If you've not talked about it and they have, that persistence is going through the roof. TCF, treating customers fairly. You know about this now. Don't miss out on the opportunity. Treat your customers fairly. Again, you're not going to convert everyone. I won't convert everyone on this call. However, just give yourself that opportunity to promote it to your clients and see where it takes you from there. And that is us. I told you I saved the best till last. Any thoughts on global treatment? Hopefully it's a bit of a wow factor. If you're quiet, and I'm hoping it is a bit of a, you know what, I want to talk about this.
I think it comes down to, Oliver, the fact exactly what you said. What's the catch? And there isn't one. It's like offering diamonds for £1 each. That's how I see it. If you're not talking about this to anyone and everyone, forget critical illness, forget life cover, just talk about this. And if you don't want it for £3 a month, then something doesn't make sense. They're not understanding what it is. Every single person you speak to should want this. I'm a big believer in that.
Absolutely. And you know what? Hopefully me explaining it, again, you'll find your own ways to explain the global treatment offering. However, just take away from it, I went to another insurer. AVIVA pay my wage, yet I went to another insurer for this benefit. Of course, I can sit here, I can put AIG underwater, I can do the same for LV. They can do the same about AVIVA. Ultimately, that's our jobs to kind of get our head above everyone else and be the number one in the market. I'm lucky enough to have AVIVA that are statistically number one in the market. We paid £1 billion in claims last year. No insurer in the industry has ever done that. We've been knocking on the door at 950, 960, 970 for the last couple of years. Now we paid £1 billion, and that's testament to you guys. That's what your peers are doing. We don't want to pay claims because people are dying, but ultimately we do. And it's £1 billion that we've paid out. That's not including car insurance. It's not including home insurance. It is just life, kick and IP. And it's on an intermediary basis as well. It's a pat on the back to your peers, to Shannon already selling our products, but it'll be a pat on the back for you guys as well when you come to sell our products. Heaven forbid you never get that knock at the door for a claim that sadly your partner or your clients or your client's partner or the children of having to claim. But ultimately, that's what you're there for. Go out and be different.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Oliver. Really appreciate it.
Can I just
You're
ask
welcome.
a question about the global cover?
Yes, of course you can.
What's the maximum age you can go up to now?
So it will stop on the 85th birthday of a client. I think 84, and then it will stop on the last day of your 84, but just before your 85th birthday, basically. It will drop off automatically.
So if somebody's buying it today, they can buy it from today up to their 85th birthday.
I think the entry level is 73. You'd have to bear with me on that one. Statistics flowing through my mind today. It's just not on the tip of my tongue, unfortunately. I'll get that out to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I've got I've got that many for global treatment, for fracture cover, for income protection, and they're all floating around in my head. So I will confirm that, but a great question. So yeah, and just to mention as well, kids are covered to the age of 18 or 21 if in full-time education. And a lot of people will ask, what about future kids? Yeah, it also covers future kids as well. Doesn't matter how many you have. You could have 1, you could have 10. If you're brave enough to have 10 kids, it will cover every single child that you yourself or your partner have.
Oliver,
Yes.
sorry. Just so I'm clear, can this be a policy on its own, or does it have to be attached to?
No, it has to be attached. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be attached, just like fracture cover. So these are additional benefits. It's, again, a great question, and you know what? We would sell so much of this, but ultimately it's not one we can lead with. It has to be on the back of live kick IP. You can lead with your conversations, by all means. That will bring the client to Aviva and they won't go anywhere else because they can't get global. Again, letting all my tactics out of the bag. That will be my lead of conversation when I'm advising. I will start with global treatment. I'll work out, of course, in the fact find what the demands and needs are, but ultimately I will start with global treatment and see where the client wants to proceed from there. If they want global treatment, they're staying with Aviva. You've done your job straight away. If they don't see the need of global treatment, you ski downhill. You go to the likes of Legal and General, who are a little bit cheaper than us. But again, you've got so many options out there in the market available to you. If you start with the best, it makes your life a whole lot easier than upselling yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
No problem.
Really appreciate your time this evening. As you mentioned earlier, Oliver, I know it's out of hours for you, and to come on in an evening and present Aviva, it's utmost respect and great presentation as well. So thank you again for your time. Really appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. As I mentioned, guys, if you do need me, hopefully the presentation has shown I'm approachable. My direct dial will be on my email. Mark sent me over a list this morning, so I will send out my contact card. You'll catch me 9 to 5. Monday to Friday. So if there is anything that kind of you don't want to ask today, you don't want to ask it in the group, or if you go to bed and you think, you know what, I've got a question, but I didn't ask it, ring me in the morning. Don't sit on it. Get to me as soon as you can. I will send out some literature as well, just so you can have a bit of daytime or evening reading, whatever times that you need to. But ultimately, if you need to go through anything a bit more detail like this, just give me a shout.
Fantastic.
Lovely. Have a great evening, everyone, and we'll chat soon.
You too, Oliver. Speak to you soon, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you. Evening, guys. What did you think of Aviva then? What do you think of global treatment?
Awesome.
I think you've heard me speak about that a few times, most of you. The thing with global treatment is it, as much as it covers a number of conditions, the thing to pinpoint down when you're marketing this to your clients, it covers all cancers. You know what I mean? Let's look at the stats. Cancer affects 1 in 2 of us. Every other client is potentially going to use global treatment. 1,000 people every single day are diagnosed with cancer. It's absolutely madness. 375,000 people a year approximately are diagnosed with cancer. And 10 children a day are diagnosed with cancer as well, which sounds a low number, but it's 10 too many. And if one child is diagnosed with cancer, they need global treatment. They need the best treatment possible. They need it quick, and they need the best doctors in the world internationally. They need to get there. It needs to be cost-free, and any parent will understand that. So, global treatment is absolutely massive. Go away, research it, find out what it's about. I'll touch on your point as well, Rachel. You mentioned regards to, does it have to be included with the product? What global treatment is, it's a hook. It's your bait for a client, and you mark it out there to say, I've got something you're going to want. And when they hear about it, they're going to nod their head and say, yeah, it is something I want. Then, of course, as an advisor, and we're always talking about doing a proper job. First time I mentioned it tonight, you're going to go in and you're going to say to them, right, you're saying you need that. Well, of course, you also need your financial protection. You need this, you need that. And it opens up the conversation. So again, it's a bum on a seat. But of course, anybody and everybody, I'll stand by this, will want global treatment who you speak to. And we used to do exhibitions all over the country. And we used to stay at an exhibition with a sign. And the sign said, global treatment, £2 million worth of cover, £1 million per claim, covers hospitality, diagnosis, treatment. You can take someone with you. Your kids are included. And it used to say at the bottom, how much you've got to guess. And we played a game at the shows. And people would say, I don't know, 50 quid a month, 100 quid a month. Test it with your clients. Play that game with them, because what they'll do, they'll turn around to you and say exactly the same. They'll say big numbers. Then when you turn around and say 3 quid, they'll say, tell me more. And then you're in. That's your opportunity to do what you do best, meet the needs we keep speaking about. So I'm aware of time tonight because Oliver came in late. He's done a great presentation. So I'm just going to fly through these final slides, actually. And I want to start by saying is that, you know, again, on Rachel's point about it doesn't need to be included with a certain product. When you're arranging a bespoke, I call it a portfolio of protection for your clients, you need to tailor it to their circumstances. And how you do that in this day and age with 9 out of 10 of the providers on the panel is you build a multi-plan or a multi-benefit policy. Now, what you'll find is that when you sit down with the new client and they've got existing plans, they'll have multiple policies, but they'll be paying individual direct debits. They'll have multiple plans that are in a drawer. They've got one with Legal and General, one with AVIVA. So the first thing to recognize there, and I'll just pause a minute because Agolta's raised a hand. Yes, Agolta?
Sorry, the kettle is on. It's where you might not hear me. So I might be asking tomorrow. I've got this signing off day or whatever, this role play day. So anyway, today, the last day of the protection thing, they were saying that hang on a minute, decreasing for a repayment mortgage is, I might be, basically, that 6% I want to know about.
Yes.
Because I know it has to be a preset threshold for obviously movements of interest rates and things like that. On Toolbox, that is apparently set on 8%. So are we using, I know for mortgages we aren't using Toolbox, but are we not using for protection any kind of sourcing from Toolbox, or we just going on a different place? Because on Toolbox it's set on 8%.
Yeah, really good question. And a lot
Sorry about that. I'm tired and probably my head is a mush and I asked the wrong thing, but I definitely remember the 8%. That's why I wanted to ask.
Yeah, so I'll answer the question for you and I'll start then at the top. So with a multi-policy, if a client has a mortgage, I believe the priority is to protect the mortgage. You know, the roof over your head being protected to prevent the lender coming in because you don't defaulting and taking that away from you and your family has got to sit as priority. So of course, you need to protect that, and you protect it. You have a joint mortgage on a joint basis. You've got one mortgage, you need one policy. Now, for a repayment mortgage, you're going to take a decreasing plan. For an interest-only mortgage, you're going to take a level plan. And of course, you're going to take it over the term of the mortgage. Now, your point there, Agolta, I've wrote 6%. Now, you can choose an interest rate that policy will fall at being a decreasing plan. I personally choose 6%. Now, you might ask me why. I haven't got the answer. I choose 6% because that's what I feel is right. I'm the advisor. Now, what 6% means is because it's an interest rate, the bigger the interest rate on a mortgage means the more interest you're paying. So your capital mortgage will fall slower because you'll be paying a lower amount of capital month in, month out. So as long as the interest rate of the mortgage is below the 6%, as an example here, then the policy will always be in credit to cover the debt of the mortgage. So with interest rates at the moment between 1.5, 2.5% as an example, and don't quote me on that, 6%, it's got a long way to go the market without the policies becoming into, say, a negative equity and leaving a shortfall. Now, as an advisor and a mortgage advisor for many years, I believe that interest rates won't go above 6%. I believe 6% is a nice number. It's what I choose. Again, there's no reason, there's not a rule that you have to use 6%. So you can choose with many providers, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8%. You've mentioned the Solution Builder may well default to 8% for you. So when you're pulling quotations through Solution Builder to, let's say, an AIG or an AVIVA site, we'll stick with AVIVA, everything's yellow today, then it's going to default to dragging that quotation in based on an 8% rate for you. So there's no right or wrong. Does it affect the premium? Sometimes it can have a small effect on the premium, but it doesn't tend to with majority of providers. Does that answer your question, Agolta? Brilliant. So with a multi-plan, what you're going to do is you're going to initially protect the mortgage and you're going to tailor it to the mortgage. It's that simple. And of course, that can be on the basis of life insurance or life or earlier critical illness cover. Now, something I want to say, and say again, I might not have mentioned before, is don't ever advise standalone critical illness cover. Because if you arrange a standalone critical illness policy, they'll be paying the same premiums as a life or earlier critical illness plan. But if they pass away within the first 14 days, let's say from a critical illness, or even just from an accidental death or whatever it may be, the contract will be invalid and it'd be worthless. So have a life or earlier critical illness policy to protect the mortgage. Always again, ski downhill. If you can protect that mortgage debt for life and early critical illness, of course, that's better than just life and terminal illness. But of course, the cost justifies, you know what I mean, what can be done for a customer. I'm a big believer in, you know, offering quality. And if it's, you know, above affordability, then we remove the critical illness on the mortgage. And of course, if someone has a £200,000 mortgage compared to someone who has an £800,000 mortgage, the premiums are going to differ significantly. Now, protecting the mortgage, as I say, is a priority. You've heard me say this many times as well. You can't eat bricks. So in the event of a critical illness, your mortgage is paid off. How do you then replace your salary? So you have to put in a policy over and above. So what you can see here, I've actually created 4 different policies over and above, and I'll explain why I work this way. Life insurance is cheap. It might cost somebody £100,000 worth of cover, £5 a month. Whereas for critical illness and life, it might be £50 a month. Just to give an indication of the difference, it tends to be 6 to 7 times more expensive for critical illness cover on a sum assured than it does for life insurance. So when you look to offer a multi-plan and protect that mortgage, to protect over and above, if you was just to take this bottom line, for example, and say, we'll do a year's salary of critical illness cover with life cover. Let's say a client was to be diagnosed with a critical illness. They would pay the mortgage off, and then they'd have a year's salary over and above. Great scenario, they got to survive. Now, we base it on a multiple of salary, and that's again dictated by affordability. So they might take 2 times salary, 5 times salary, 10 times salary. But the issue with taking 10 times salary on critical illness cover is that it's expensive. And nobody ever insures themselves to what they actually need to give them full security. They insure themselves to be able to concentrate on the medical status, getting themselves fit and healthy and back to work. So again, it comes down to an affordability factor. So coming back to why I would say, first, they do single policies, protect the individual for salaries, but cover themselves for 4 plans, not 2, is because you can offer 10 times salary on just life cover. Because in the event of somebody passing away, it's going to have a much more bigger financial impact on the family, potentially, than, God forbid, it being in the event of a critical illness. So in this scenario, as an example, we could say, protect the mortgage for life and critical illness, protect 5 years salary for life cover for Mr. and Mrs., protect a year's salary for life and critical illness. It keeps the premiums down, but still caters for the need. And then you'll see at the bottom, you've got the option to add in again, income protection. Now, income protection, depending upon the individual and their occupation, is going to be, does it go with AVIVA just because the multi-plan here is with AVIVA? Or is it better to put the income protection with a British Friendly? We'll use them as an example because they've been on to one of our Sharpen the Soul events. Now, for me, I'm a big believer that it's best to build this within a multi-plan with an AIG, an AVIVA, a Royal London, an LV. But when it comes to the income protection does what it says on the tin. If you have an accident, a sickness, or a disability, it pays out beyond your deferment period for the period that you have taken, whether that be full term, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, or 2 years. So the fact it pays out regardless of whether it's a broken leg or a bad back or a COVID situation or a significant amount of flu, or I don't know, you stumped your toenail. It doesn't matter what the reason is, income protection will pay out. So it's about cost. It's same as life insurance. It's about cost. So when you build your policies, the purpose of this demonstration here is build a multi-plan to protect the mortgage. Now, if you haven't got a mortgage, disregard the top and just look at the 4 areas and then add in the income protection over and above. But every client, if they have a mortgage, this should be meeting the need of the customers. Everyone's got a need for all of them areas. If they haven't got a mortgage, they've got a need for all these 6 areas. And again, affordability will kind of determine where they need to be at. Now, I just want to touch on, you know, when people have existing critical illness policies and life policies, what's the reason we look to replace them policies? Now, first, I want to start by saying, if you replace a policy as an advisor, you do have to complete a replacement questionnaire for your Primus case. The reason for that, you need to justify why is it best to take them off the current plan and put them onto the plan you're advising. So you need to justify, and how you justify is through a system called CI Expert. Now, I'm going to quickly, because I'm aware of time, just come on to CI Expert for you and show you this platform. And let's see if I can find it. Here we go. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs this evening because it's going to take me too long. But CI Expert is a platform which you'll see this page here in front of you. You'll click on the login button and it'll take you through to here, and Fortune Financial have a login that when you log into the platform, it'll give you the ability to put in a historical comparison. So what your client currently has by means of a critical illness plan and what you can offer them. So I'm going to fly through this really quick just so I can show you. Client's first name, we don't care. Last name, we don't care. Male or female, doesn't matter. Makeup or date of birth. Non-smoker. We'll leave this. Well, actually, we'll say children's covered included because we want to say about the enhancements for the children. We'll use an average age for the children. And I'll just throw a sum assured in there. And we'll say it's over 25 years on a level basis. So this system will enable me to compare an old, let's say, AVIVA policy from, say, 2018 to the current policy, and not just make the client take your word for it that something is better. Now, for me, that is being a professional. So how you do that is, can you see this button here, historic? You click historic and it asks you a drop down. Which provider do they currently have? So you could turn around and say, well, currently they've got an AVIVA policy, and their AVIVA policy was taken out, we'll say in 2011, March to October. I'm going to select that. And then we're going to ski down to the bottom and it's going to say, what are you offering? And we're going to offer the AVIVA policy with life, adult upgraded and children upgraded critical illness. In other words, the top policy currently with AVIVA. So I'll select that policy. I'm going to ski back to the top. I'm going to press continue. An absolute gold for your clients now is they firstly don't need to take your word for it, but now they can actually discuss. Sorry, did someone have a question there?
Yeah, do we need to, I know on Toolbox again from, I don't want to be looking like a smart tech or something, but I just heard it on, I've seen it on this academy. They require, if you're replacing an old policy with a new one, you need to add some kind of proof. So is there any way of getting some PDF document of this CI Expert website so we can use it, unless we don't need to do it? But I know there might be a compliance requirement with replacement. So for example, I've got a LNG decreasing term insurance, which I already know that I want to change. So would I need to sort of document why am I changing it, and can I use CI Experts? So hopefully this question does make sense.
Well, to be honest with you, you're so proactive in your question. I'm very impressed, and I'll give you the answer.
Oh, sorry about that.
So that's a great question again. So the answer is yes. So this system is going to firstly tell you to educate you on what is best for the client's needs. And as an example here, you can see the current policy. You can see the new policy you will be advising, and you can see the score rating within the industry, how it's improved. It's improved by a large percentage of points. Just to give you an indication, 100 points is a decent gain. So in this event, the client is losing out on 3 conditions. It's likely the conditions that are taken out of the policy are because people don't claim on them. They don't tend to take anything out due to claim reasons, of course, because that would be penalizing the clients. But what you can see on this occasion is that there's 76 new conditions included within the policy. So I'm not going to go to the ins and outs of all these conditions, but you can look at that. But if you click continue again, it'll break it down to say that 2 gold conditions, 13 silver conditions and 61 what will be additional payment conditions, less advanced severity conditions. So let's say the likes of breast cancer, where somebody was to have a carcinoma in situ and have to have a mastectomy. That would be an early stage cancer, which of course is devastating for families. It will have a financial impact on families. Same with low-grade prostate cancer as an example. It can be curable. You can be back into work within 6 months. They're not covered on these older style policies, whereas nowadays they're covered. And it may be a lower payout than the full sum assured, let's say a 35,000 per claim or a 25,000 per claim, depending upon the providers. But it's there to give financial security. And then again, if they progress to a bigger stage of cancer, for example, they will pay out the full sum assureds for you. So what this system again is showing you what is available for your clients in evidencing your research. But as you just mentioned there, Agota, you can create the report now. So this report, once we open it, it will create it. You can download the report here. You can have a full compliance report or a summary. The summary is less confusing for your clients. A full compliance report will be about 80 pages. And I'm just going to open this. You can see it's downloading the report. And I'm going to stop it because all it's going to do is show you what we've just gone through for the last 5 minutes. So when it comes to CI Expert, you've all got logins for CI Expert. You can do historical comparisons for your customers, for your clients, generate that report. Answer to your question again, Agota, of course, add it to your file because it justifies your advice as well. But of course, when it comes to justifying your advice, you're not just doing it for the benefit of the client, you're doing it for the benefit of, God forbid, down the line, a client was to come and make a complaint against you because you've replaced a policy. You can justify it, you have them conversations. And if they say, well, I can't claim on my current policy now, where I could previously, of course, you would have documented that as well. So, you know, the reasons you're going to replace policies, we talked about trusts for weeks. If a policy is not written in trust, tax liabilities, of course, we're not tax advisors, but mitigates the inheritance tax liability. We can enhance the critical illness conditions, include more critical illness conditions, added children's critical illness cover, added benefits and features such as global treatment, best doctors, the DigiCare app you'd have heard about this evening with AVIVA as an example. Some providers have boosters, less severity payouts, enhanced payouts that you need to go away and read about. Never do standalone critical illness cover. If a client has standalone critical illness cover, get them off it, get them on a new policy that's more enhanced with a life or earlier critical illness benefit. Multi-plan discount, jumping back to the multi-plan. If you're arranging a policy with multiple policies, it's likely that you'll get approximately about a £2 saving per policy built within the multi-plan. Now, £2 within 7 policies, it'd go on 6 of the plans because the leading policy wouldn't take it. That's £12 a month. You know, that's a lot of money over the years of the policy. So again, it's a saving for your clients. And of course, you replace policies because you get to tailor to the client's circumstance, as we've just previously discussed, and make bespoke policies. So one thing I just want to touch on is you might have seen, and we're finalising, we're wrapping it up now in the next few minutes. On the group chat, I announced, I think it was Friday last week, is that we've got what we call in our main events. Kelly, and they come up with a name. We love a lion, don't we, at Fortune Financial? Lions have a mane. It's not a misspelling. And we're offering the opportunity to qualify for Amsterdam in November. So anybody from April to September who's a non-CAS advisor, if you issue £21,000 worth of business, which you will, and I'm confident everyone will on the call, or who's joining Fortune Financial, or alternatively, you're a CAS advisor as of the 1st of April, then it's a 30,000 issued figure we need to achieve. You'll qualify for Amsterdam. So, of course, what we want you to do is be, you know, part of the team. We want you to be here and joining in on these events. So for you, it's an incentive to get involved with the team, get into what I would say is a bit of a motivation and a bit of competitive streak week to week, month to month between the team to say, I'm getting on Amsterdam, I'm getting there first. And of course, what that will do for you, it'll make you grow quicker, more successful quicker. But of course, everyone comes to work for one reason, and that's to earn money. So of course, it's about earning money as well and sitting yourself in a level that is of a decent level as an advisor to get above that as a non-CAS advisor or a CAS advisor as well. So coming soon, ignore the dates at the bottom of the pictures, but we've got LV, Joanne Legon next week on Thursday evening. And then Uzma is back. Sadly, she wasn't here last week. We managed to do the session on USPs instead, which I thought went very well. She's coming back and joining us the following week. So 2 great sessions we're going to have coming up. You know, thank everyone for the time this evening. Sorry, it has ran over by 10, 12 minutes. If anyone's got any questions, by all means, you know, stay on the call. I'll always get them answered for you. If not, enjoy the rest of your evening. Remember, watch these sessions back. You can't watch them enough. Make notes, talk to your customers and your clients about it. Get on social media, talk about global treatment because it's huge, it's massive. And for me, it's a hook, it's a diamond for a pound, and it's something every single client of yours should have. So again, thanks for your time this evening. Stay on the call if you need me, and signing off. I'll see you soon.